I'm Madison. One morning, I woke up to my mom yelling, Madison, Madison, get over here and help us. The cab's waiting outside. How do you think we're going to carry all these suitcases on our own? My mom was doing this to annoy me. She was taking my sister on vacation, and she wanted me to see them leave so I could suffer. My sister Charlotte grinned smugly when she saw me. I hope you're not jealous. You could have been coming with us if you were doing as good as I am in school. Without meeting her gaze, I said, I'm doing well enough at school. My mom jumped in. You're not good at math. Math proves how smart you are. Unfortunately, you take after your father there. But my Charlotte is just like her mother in every way. Charlotte turned to my mom, giggling, and I'm so proud of it, Mommy. My parents got divorced 5 years ago. It was my dad who wanted to break up. That's why my mom is still mad at him. She belittles my dad every chance she gets. I look so much like my dad, and that must be why she doesn't like me as much as she likes my sister. She turned to me as she was getting into the cab. You have 1 week. Study as much as you can. I'll give you a little quiz when I get back. If I see that you haven't improved, you can forget about vacation. Every time Charlotte and I go away, you'll be staying back at home like this. You see, everyone gets the life they deserve. When I went back into the house, I could no longer hold back my tears. I started crying. Actually, I didn't care if I was going with them or not. What really upset me was the injustice of it all. Yes, I'm bad at math. I don't get math no matter how hard I try. But I can't stand my mom treating me like I have a lower IQ just because I'm bad at math. The next morning, I woke up early. I found the best math sites on the internet and I started studying. Unfortunately, nothing changed. I thought I understood all the subjects, but afterward, no matter how hard I tried, I couldn't solve the problems. Perhaps it would help if I got some tips from a friend who is good at math. I went to see Hannah, who's one of my besties. I told her everything. You're so good at math. Do you have any suggestions for me? I'm scared I'll start believing I'm an idiot soon, I said. Hannah consoled me. This has nothing to do with intelligence. Some people are naturally inclined towards math, while some excel in verbal skills. From what I understand, though, you really are in a pickle. I can suggest something else, but I'm scared that you'll make fun of me. Why would I make fun of you? As you said, I'm in a pickle. I'm open to any suggestions, I said, encouraging her to go on. Hannah said, do you remember the time my brother had disappeared 2 years ago? We were all so worried. A friend of my mom's took us to a lady. Don't laugh, but the lady? She was a witch. What? A witch? Like in the movies? I responded. Yes, she came from a lineage of French witches. She learned how to cast a spell from notes left to her from her great-grandmother. On a piece of paper, she wrote "come back" spell and gave it to my mom. My mom read the things on the piece of paper for 3 nights before going to bed. Blood to blood, I summon thee. Blood to blood, return to me. And my brother came home after those 3 days. Oh my gosh, that's really unbelievable, Hannah. Please take me to that lady, please. I will never forget this favor, I said, practically begging her. Hannah accepted. I was elated. I had a wonderful surprise for my mom, Charlotte, in mind. After a long bus ride, we arrived at the neighborhood outside of the city. I was surprised when we got to the witch's house because it looked quite normal. Hannah had called the lady in advance to let her know we were on our way. When we walked in, I was disappointed again because the witch looked very normal. She'd offered us tea and biscuits. We had a nice chat. Madison, you're so sweet. I'll be very happy if I can help you. I have a great spell for you, she said. Really? Will it make me smarter? I asked her excitedly. I think you're smart enough. It's normal to have difficulties with math. One cannot excel in every subject. I'll help you with your learning, not with your IQ, she said, and with a big smile on her face added, let's go into my study. It's time for some magic. I was astonished when we entered her study. This was definitely a witch's room. Candles were the only source of light here. There were so many old books on the shelves, so many jars everywhere. I picked up a jar filled with green liquid. The tag on it said, mouse milk. I shivered. I put it back immediately. The lady seemed different in this room, too. She had turned into a full-blown witch. Even the tone of her voice changed. She handed me an envelope. In a raspy voice, she said, there is a piece of paper in this envelope. Don't read it now. The name of this spell is knowledge absorption. Get in front of the mirror at dawn and say the magic words. You will learn everything easily with the help of this spell, but you'll forget it all at dusk. I took the envelope and thanked her. Hannah looked just as worried as I was. With quick steps, we left the room. When I woke up the next morning, I was so excited. To be honest, I was a little scared as well. I stood before the mirror just like the witch had told me to do. I took a deep breath. There was a yellow note inside the envelope. I took it out. Right as the sun was coming up, I began reading the spell from the note. In this place and in this hour, I call upon the ancient power. From dusk till dawn, I will understand everything from the sky to the ground. I had imagined a ray of light was going to wash over me and maybe even a voice along with it, but nothing happened. Was the witch lady a charlatan? Did you go all that way for nothing? The spell didn't seem to work, but I wanted to try it anyway. I took the math book that was sitting on my desk. Right at that second, something unexpected happened. Suddenly, I felt an irresistible urge within myself. The pages of the book started moving without me touching. Letters and math formulas appeared on the walls. They hovered up in the air for a while and then flew into my brain. Then everything went back to normal. I looked at the questions to see if I could solve them. In that instant, I realized that I had learned every single thing in that math book. I was able to solve the questions at lightning speed without a pen or paper. I was hyperventilating with excitement. I lay down on the floor. The spell had worked. It sounded incredible, but I was a math genius thanks to the spell the witch had given to me. My mom and Charlotte would be so surprised. I began laughing out loud. The day my mom and sister came back, I woke up early. I did the spell in front of the mirror. They would be home in 5 hours. Besides my math prowess, I was going to prepare a few more surprises for them until then. Charlotte had gotten excited about music and bought herself a guitar last year, but she couldn't figure out how to play it right, even though she tried hard. I took the guitar from her room. I found a guitar tutorial on YouTube. In 10 minutes, I was a total guitar virtuoso. Of course, I owed it all to the spell, but I was playing so well that for a second, I wondered if I really did have natural talent for it. My mom and Charlotte went to Mexico for vacation. I'm sure they had a pretty hard time because they don't speak a word of Spanish. I started hanging out at Spanish learning sites. Half an hour later, I was speaking Spanish as if it were my mother tongue. When my mom and sister arrived, I greeted them at the door. I helped them with their suitcases. Apparently, they thought I'd be upset with them. They were surprised to see me in such a happy mood. Charlotte cut to the chase to kill my buzz. Did you study math, dear sister? I'm sure you gave up at some point because you just don't get it. Mom said she was going to give you a quiz. You're going to fail, and we all know it. So, you don't need to stress out about it, she said. I smiled calmly. I actually had a very productive week. I realized math isn't that hard after all. I just have to stay focused while studying, that's all, I replied. My mom and Charlotte looked at each other and laughed in my face. My mom said, "You studied math and understood? That doesn't sound credible to me." "Then it's time for your little quiz. Let's see how I'm gonna do," I replied. My mom and Charlotte took the math book and started preparing the quiz questions for me. They came to my room and gave me the questions. Then they stood by watching me. They were both grinning since they were sure I was going to fail. There were 5 questions. I barely glanced at them and then gave them all the answers. My mom opened her eyes wide. "We just prepared those questions. You didn't know what we were going to ask, but they're all correct. This is impossible," she said. Charlotte was as shocked as Mom. "I'm sure she cheated. No way she could have done it so fast. She didn't even write anything down," she yelled. "I saw that when you focus, math is not difficult at all. I actually had some free time to develop a few other skills than math," I said. Then I asked them in Spanish how their vacation went. Naturally, they didn't understand. Charlotte said in disbelief, You speak Spanish?" Apparently, they needed someone who spoke Spanish in Mexico. "Yes," I answered, and continued to speak to them in Spanish. They were both staring at me, mouths agape. Spanish is a really easy language to learn. It didn't take much of my time. There's actually one more thing I want to show you other than math and Spanish. I wonder if you're going to like this more, I said, and took my sister Charlotte's guitar. I said to my sister, "Why were you not able to learn how to play the guitar? It's like child's play," and began strumming. I was playing it so well that I was surprised at how powerful the knowledge absorption spell was. My mom and Charlotte had the biggest surprise of their lives that day. Looking into her eyes, I could tell how jealous my mom was of me. It was expected. I was better at math now than her beloved daughter would ever be. I excelled at playing a musical instrument Charlotte couldn't play. And I could speak Spanish as fluently as a native speaker. I learned all of this in 1 week. From then on, they have always been jealous of me because I keep surprising them with a new skill every day. Last month, I became a chess champion at the high school league. The mobile game I developed after learning coding became really popular. One day, I cooked Russian cuisine. The next day, Turkish. I have another skill that I don't show them. After casting the spell in the morning, I spent some time learning about the stock market. I got into it by buying a few stocks with my allowance. The money in my investment account hit $250,000 in no time. When it hits $1 million, I'm going to buy a beautiful house in a beach town in Mexico. Then I'll invite my mom and Charlotte to my summer house and give them another huge surprise. I'm really curious to see their faces when I do that.